John, I wish you safe. I wish you well. No, that's your line. Johnny boy, into the Groove Junction.
Mate, honestly, I tell you, I know I say it every week, but I'm like so looking forward to these podcasts. I'm loving them.
You say, I tell you what, getting into it already. You do say, I'm loving it, I love it a lot. And I have to remove quite a few from the edit. So say it again.
I'm loving it.
Okay, that's enough. I won't edit anymore.
Yeah, Matty, I'm really loving it.
Okay. Welcome to the Groove Junction, everyone. Welcome for another one of our episodes. And we've got a guest today, John.
I know. I'm so looking forward to this.
You look forward to every guest that we have.
Because we don't have rubbish guests here on the Groove Junction. You know that.
Another member of TikTok royalty today. That's all I'm going to say at this moment in time.
It is quite literally royalty.
Don't give any more away.
No, I won't.
But yes, welcome to the Groove Junction. Welcome to everyone that's listening. We are back for another episode, and here we are. If this is the first time you've listened to us, where have you been? There's a load of other episodes for you to go and check out. But tonight's episode is about a very, very special guest that we've been trying to get onto the show since before Christmas. But we've managed to get him and get him on, which is great. But before we get into today's guest, how has your week been, John?
You know what? It's been non-eventful. If I'm honest, I've had a really nice, really easy week, and my weekend is looking very much the same. Okay. I'm quite happy with it. I look back over my diary, and this weekend is my first full weekend off since October.
Oh.
So my full weekend, got full weekend off. And I have been doing a lot of preparation work for upcoming gigs.
Nice.
But that is about it. That is literally all I've done.
But the admin, that element of admin is important. I think you've got to be doing that. It's not a case of just, I'll be fine, I'll just turn up and do my thing. You've got to be in a position to be doing all that admin. So yeah.
You know what? A funny story, right? Now I know last week, right? We're talking about preparation, right?
Yeah.
And last week I told you I took a booking. I did an 18th birthday party, and the booking come through Instagram, right? Now she sent me, a list of music she wanted, and in the song list she's put cheese on toast, right? So I am searching everywhere for this song.
You sure it wasn't a shopping list?
Well, yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Right? You'd think that, but no, I'm searching everywhere, all the different places that I download music from and buy music from, and this and that. I could not find a song called Cheese on Toast, right? So I turns up to the venue. The lady's there, and she says hello. I recognise you from your picture and this, that, and the other. Oh, fantastic, lovely. I said, look, I did drop you an email. I said, there's one song I cannot find. I said, it's the only one song I can't find. I said, it's a song called Cheese on Toast. She's rolling around the floor in laughter. And I mean literally rolling around the floor in laughter. And I said, well, what's so funny? She said, Cheese on Toast. I said, yeah, no, I can't find it. I don't know. I've never even heard of it. She said, no. She said, well, I want cheesy music. So I said to her, well, where does the toast come into it? She said, well, it's cheese on toast. Right. So
basically, she wanted cheese music, which she referred to as cheese on toast.
Exactly that.
Any other DJs out there that has ever had any of their cheese selections from their parties, their weddings, etc., being addressed to as cheese on toast I'd love to know how many, because I think that's probably the only one.
Mate, I'll tell you, but you know what? It was brilliant. Cheese on toast. I'm gonna use that from now on.
Do it.
When I say we're going to change it, we're going to go a little bit cheesy toasty.
You're going to go a bit cheesy toasty, people. Yeah. Stand by your pen.
You know what? It's a wicked 18th as well. Really good party.
Good.
Loved it. Yeah.
Good.
So what about yourself?
We were down in London Battersea Arts Centre for a silent disco. Really good one, actually. Really good, lovely venue. But we rolled out a brand new setup. We've
I
got
see
a
the
brand
videos.
new looking setup for this year's tour. The stage setup looks incredible, obviously.
Yeah,
And also
well,
there's a
because
great
you
big
was on
word.
it, wasn't you?
Well, I was on it, but the word "incredible" is written in a very nice, very large light box at the front of the DJ stand now.
That's new.
So yes, yeah, it was a really good night, really good event. Yeah, loads of good feedback. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And this week, I'm heading to Manchester, for a silent disco up in Manchester Cathedral this weekend with Adam Snowball, who we've had on the show recently. He's on the
Love
bill,
that guy.
and DJ Mischief, a local Manchester DJ. She's also on the bill this weekend. So yeah, looking forward to Saturday's jolly
Love that.
to Manchester, which will be good. And like I said, we've got the new setup and rig. Actually, I'm going before I get up there. Actually, well, for the gig, I'm going to meet up with DJ Don Wood, who
Okay.
was one of the regional finalists for the Northwest for the wedding
Wedding awards.
industry awards. He's reached out to me, and yeah, so we're gonna have a coffee
I
and
like
talk
that.
things all DJ. So it's all about that networking.
Mate, absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Absolutely. So looking forward to meeting him in person and having a good chat before the night. Yeah,
Good
and
stuff.
you're just chilling.
Yeah,
You're
but
having a
you,
reset.
I literally pretty much no plans. There is one big job that I do need to do, and I want to do it this weekend. So
Okay.
although I'm not gigging, obviously I keep all my equipment in big yellow storage.
You looking
And
for a discount with that little plug? Are you?
I didn't even think about that, but maybe we could get them to sponsor us. Maybe who knows?
Oh God.
But literally, at the moment, the way it is, because of Christmas and everything, I've got all my Christmas inflatables, all my Christmas stock is all at the front. So every time I want to go in there at the moment, I have to pull it all out. So I want to empty my whole locker, the whole thing, sweep it all up, get rid of all the stuff that I do not use, have a clear out,
Oh,
bit like a
you might be
spring
selling some
clean,
stuff, people. You might be
maybe.
selling
Maybe.
some gear.
Well, I'll tell you one of the things that I will be selling, and that will be my Gig Bar 2
Oh,
with
okay.
a
There you go.
swan case.
Oh,
I
see,
don't
look,
use it anymore, so I will be selling it, and it's a perfect light for a beginner.
there you go.
Perfect. And the experienced, of course, because there's experienced DJs out there who use it.
You're just selling kit. You're just going to be sorting
I'm
out your
just going to be
kit, and you're
selling,
just going to be
selling
selling
kit,
kit. Nice.
stands, lights, you name it. I'm going to sell
Love
it.
that. Love that.
Make some space. And
Yeah.
then the following week, I will be selling my 2 children and dog and wife.
Is there a return policy on those?
Absolutely not.
Okay, there we go.
Sold as seen.
There was something that you messaged me about in the week, mate. Around somebody reached out to you. Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, on the Groove Junction, we have spoken in depth and fleeting as well about mental health. And one of our listeners, and he's listened to every single episode, DJ Percy, he reached out and he said, look, can you have a look at this for me? Is there any chance that you can help me out in any way, shape or form? And basically his brother is raising money for Percy's homeless hub. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to buy some equipment for the soup kitchen. Okay. Now, he's trying to raise some money, and the way he's doing it, he's going to be walking from Surrey to Scotland in the aid to raise some money. Now, he was in a very dark place a year ago, and he was saved from this dark place, and it was a wake-up call that he needed, and to change his life, but also to change other people's lives. And he wants to do this walk, which is it's a big walk. Sorry to Glasgow is a big walk.
That's a trek.
Yeah, it is a trek. So he's doing this to raise money. So I know time, and we know the mental health thing. It affects all of us in one way or another, and we know that times are tough, like with the cost of living and this and the other. But even if you've got a penny or a pound, if you can donate any money to this cause, then Percy and his brother will be eternally grateful. Now, the way you can do it, you go GoFundMe page. If you search for "Walking from Epsom to Scotland," that will give you the details, and it'll give you the backstory as well.
I'll tell you what, John, I'm going to put them on underneath here on the screen.
Pressure.
Yeah,
Pressure.
they're going to be on the screen there, so
There you
people
go.
see that. And they'll also be in the description as well. So if you want to donate to this wonderful cause for Percy and his brother to on this charity walk for them, please do so. That'd be great to hear from them.
I think it's also important, Matty. You know, I know you're a big advocate for the mental health thing.
I am indeed.
You know, and you know, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You know, it doesn't matter. You can reach out to anyone. We're here. Myself and Matty are here. If you want to reach out, if you just want to have a shout, a cry, a holler, a rant, a rave, or whatever, then we're on the end of the phone. So, you know, don't think that you're on your own, because there is always somebody there to help you out. And myself and Matty are there, 100%. So yeah, thank you for that, my friend.
No worries. Hopefully people jump on that. That'd be great.
That would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we get our guest on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right then, John. I will see you
after the break.
See you after the break. Welcome back from that wonderful little break, Johnny boy.
You know what? I want to change my intro when I come in after the break.
Go on then. What do you want to change it to? Do it now.
I want to do it. You know when
Yeah.
I want to make a statement.
It's just basically showing that you got a swivel chair. That's all that is, John.
I love a swivel chair. But I'll tell you something I do love even more than my swivel chair, and that is our next guest.
Oh, really?
Mate, I'll tell you, if you don't, the people that don't know this guy, we're going to know it after this podcast.
Absolutely, and I mean, this is the direction that we're going straight off the bat.
Absolutely, I'll tell you. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm ready, man. Bring him on.
So please welcome to the Groove Junction for the first time, and hopefully not the last time, Sir Francis. There he is.
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Sir, how are you?
Yes, you have to call me sir through the whole thing. Yeah, just as FYI. Yeah. I've knighted myself because I've got delusions of grandeur.
Set our high.
Exactly.
Thank you for coming on. Yes, I mentioned that we reached out to you quite early on, and it was a case of you're on holiday, we were busy, loads of things happened, Christmas came, Christmas gone, but now we've got you. You're in the Groove Junction.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in the hot seat. We're gonna delve into the whole social media thing, no doubt, in the conversation. But the big hook for me to go, who is this guy, is your TikTok hook. Your TikTok hook has literally taken off, and we will get into that. But that's where we first saw you, where you sort of announced yourself into that social media and have gone boom, and you have gone boom. Before we get there, I want to know how and when your DJing career started.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the kind words as well. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be here. It's my favorite thing to do, talk about DJing for an hour. So I'm thrilled to do this.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it kind of all started basically when I went to university. So in my teenage years, I was really kind of just into very aggressive, heavy metal, which probably says a lot about my mental health as a teenager. But very angry man at the world. And then I got to uni, and then that was 2008, and that was kind of massively in the dubstep era. So it was kind of before America kind of got hold of it and really made it really angry. But kind of that period where it was kind of getting really popular, and there was just a lot going on. And I went to uni. I went to uni for a year at Leeds, but kind of during that year, kind of discovered dubstep, discovered the whole electronic scene, discovered proper sort of going out and raving and various different things that you can do, because Leeds is quite a fun town if you're a student. It's a great time, and there was just tons of clubs, and all the DJs at that time, all the big dubstep DJs and drum and bass DJs, kind of, I think it was, I mean, this is a little bit a while ago, so they were kind of still coming up, and so you could see really who you classify now as massive DJs, but you'd see them in the student union or something. So it wasn't, they wasn't crazy. they weren't sort of crazy superstars at that point. So it was just a really, really cool time. And like, it felt like there was a bit of a movement going on, which was just really cool. And so that kind of really got me into the whole scene and just loved it. And then I ended up leaving Leeds because I didn't like the course. And then I took a year out, and then basically bought some decks kind of during that year out while I was kind of working. So because I had a bit of money, so I got, buy some decks, taught myself how to DJ over that year. And then kind of went to uni and just haven't stopped since, basically. And kind of actually funny enough, so my first ever, that year was my first ever gig was that year. And then I also, you'll love this, I bagged a residency. Basically, a friend of mine was working in this nightclub, and she was like, "We need a DJ in the basement Monday to Thursday, or like some nights Monday to Thursday." I was like, "Yeah, cool." Like, gas to like get a paid gig, and we're talking like I was doing like 6 hours for like 50 quid. So like pretty tragic money. But I got down there and I turn up the club. They're like, head to the basement. I walk in and like it's not a dance floor. There's just like tables everywhere. And I look in the corner and there's a pole. Anyway, it turns out that actually what I was doing was I was basically ended up being the resident DJ in a strip club for like 4 or 5 months. And it was just
Evidently tricked in.
I was like, oh, what a terrible shame. This experience is happening to me. And so anyway, and that was, so I was having the time of my life. And then, and it was really funny because like I had to DJ, but then obviously the girls would get up and like do their dances, to get people.
Never. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure. But the worst part about it was I had to get on the mic and be like, and next up on the pole, it's Mercedes, and like introduce each one as they came up and did their dance. And so it's just like, it was just really, really funny. I mean, I was only 19 at that point, but so it was kind of, I was like, this is hilarious. I get free drinks, get paid, and I get to watch strippers.
So, mate, love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Do they still need any DJs, or are they all right at the moment?
I think that club closed down, sadly. I don't think. But the funniest part of it was as well is that some of like I used to see my mates' dads come in, and they'd be looking, because the booth was kind of like behind the bar, like raised up behind the bar, and so these guys they'd walk in and they'd be like, I know you used like all this sort of, it was this mutual understanding, like I won't tell if you won't.
I had exactly the same when I worked on the doors as a strip club, and I never forget once my boss came in, and obviously he didn't know where to look when he came in. I said, "It's all right, I haven't seen you."
Yeah.
A pay rise was coming my way.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, I get that though.
So I was going to ask a question. So you tripped into her first residency, which was in a basement, which turned out to be a gentleman's establishment. What music had you in your head or your mind? You're going, well, I'm going to be playing in this club in this basement, and I don't know what it is. What did you? And the next thing, though, you're being handed a load of tracks by a load of women. This is my song that I'm dancing to. Did you have to change your whole outlet on, right, this, I've got a set list, this is what I'm going to be playing tonight in this club? Oh no, this is not what I was expecting to be done. How, like, what was the focus for you for what you were going to do music wise?
Yeah, well, it went from like sort of creating a party vibe to sort of being a more like creating an atmosphere, if you know what I mean, because it kind of wasn't really like, it wasn't obviously, people aren't there to have a party, right? They're there to kind of like,
Well, I know, like I said, I've never. Yeah, I can imagine.
So I turned up with like a load of like, with what I was thought was like loads of house records and stuff, and I brought like, thankfully I brought like more commercial stuff along with me as well. And I was like, I will probably just have to play this and play the crowd pleasers. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the most satisfying thing, to be honest with you, because it was, again, during the week, so like there weren't many people in there, and you're playing to an empty room a lot of the time, but like for me it was just it was fun to be out, like gigging, like playing on proper equipment, I mean, minor stuff that you don't even think about, but like, playing on CDJs, all that kind of stuff. I'd never done that. I had these like horrible things I bought. So it's just a case of like, especially when you're first starting out, you'll just take anything. Like you'd rather be out than in. So yeah, I was thrilled and kind of was happy to play, anything they really told me to. So yeah, no, it didn't really bother me that much.
During the week, I mean, there's not many people in there, so really, I mean, it's an ideal practice section for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no one there in the room, so you can be right. Okay, I'll do this. I mean, you've obviously you've been brought up on your heavy rock and heavy metal music, and you rock into that sort of thing, and then you're sort of thrown into not thrown into, you stepped into a nightclub atmosphere or a nightclub environment where really you don't hear a lot of like the heavy metal stuff unless you go to like the Rock Garden in Covent Garden, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So you I know you got into the electronic stuff through university and that, but then you had to sort of like side shift over to the more commercial music. How did you find that, playing music to like an empty club, but playing music that really you don't really know? You're not really. I'm guessing you weren't familiar with it. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Because of your history of that. I mean, how was that transition for you, going and playing out to people in a club?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too hard. I mean, like, because at that time as well, I think the club music, I think this is right, like kind of 2010, like it was still kind of housey, right? David Guetta was kind of becoming like the pop, and so like his like house music was becoming pop music. So
Calvin Harris and all
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So it actually wasn't like that foreign in that respect, and it's just because actually it was kind of like I could still do mix, like I could still mix, and kind of or mix house music more specifically, and so it actually kind of wasn't that much of a leap, which was quite good. It wasn't. I mean, I'd play like other stuff as well, which kind of just Kings of Leon and all this kind of stuff, but. Yeah, but like actually I could get away with playing quite a lot of house stuff just because that was what was in the charts, and so it was actually quite good. And like I think Pitbull was doing housey tracks and that kind of stuff, so it wasn't too bad, to be fair. And I think, I mean, it kind of it's like all these things. It kind of teaches you to A, be able to kind of read a room, B, also just being able to like have a diverse like a collection of music, and I think also just like long term, like especially I meet lots of people and they say, oh, I would never play that, or that's not my sort of music and all the rest of it. But I kind of think it's like the most important thing about being a DJ is A, having a lot of like knowing a lot of music, and B, being able to like put your own ego aside and say, oh, actually, like I'm playing for the crowd, whatever that crowd is. If it's a bunch of 60-year-olds or it's a bunch of 18-year-olds, like you're there to provide a service. You're not there to like massage your own ego. So it's an important lesson, and I think some people like fail to pick up on that sometimes, from what I've seen.
How quickly and early on in your DJing career did you pick up on that? Because some people will go, I want to be a club DJ and that's all I want to do is house. At what point did you go, actually, I've got to be fairly multi-genre here. I've got to cover all bases. So at what point in that early journey did you go, right, I've got to be fairly flexible to all of this?
Well, because of that residency, I didn't start out like ever, because that was the only gig I did for like my first year of DJing, probably. And so that's how I started. Kind of didn't know any different. So it kind of it's never really been like a thing for me, because I've never been like, oh, I will only play at house nights or only do this and that. Like I kind of don't care. And so it's never really been a problem for me. And same through university as well. So like I was gigging lots at university, and I got in with all the like sort of people who ran different like student nights, and they were kind of housey, but also they did like all these like drink things and party things that like there were a couple of promoters who kind of ran them, and they were sort of pre-parties, and that was way more commercial. And again, that was when like Avicii was becoming a big thing. So again, it was all kind of house music, but but I still had to play lots of like commercial stuff. So I've always kind of done that, and like been fine with it, to be honest. I mean, my preference is always to kind of play houseier stuff and that play in that environment. But I don't mind. Like if that's what someone wants, that's what someone wants, and if you're going to pay me, great.
You mentioned at the start of this that you took a bit of a gap year
Yeah.
from your study and decided, right, I'm going to buy some decks.
Mm.
What made you? What was the right? I want to become a DJ. I want to learn how to DJ. What was the catalyst for you? What ticked that point for you?
It was after doing that first year up at Leeds, and kind of just thinking like I got so immersed in that whole like into the raves up there and everything else, and just loved it so much. And I was just like, this is so cool. And then kind of had ideas about like music, if I like the sort of music that I would want to play or create, and just kind of wanted an outlet for that, because I've always been musical. Like I played drums in bands for years. I played double bass. My mum was an opera singer. So it kind of, I've always been immersed in music, and creating music and kind of finding an outlet for it, etc., etc. And so, it was not so much like I wanted to be a DJ. It was just that I was like looking for an outlet for music that I enjoyed. And I actually wanted to be like a drum and bass DJ. So that's what I was like really, really into for a bit. Started doing that, and then basically was like, I can't mix this, it's too hard. So I'm gonna try house music, and just like I went and downloaded a couple of like tracks on YouTube, and then like that was the sort of gateway into it, because I was like, oh, this is much easier to mix, much slower and more like much chill. So yeah, no, it was never a case of being like I really, really wanted to be a DJ. It was just that I was like really, really liked the music, and was like, oh, I could probably I could blend this and this, and that would be quite cool. Because it's kind of it wasn't so much a thing back then as well. Like I think it
is now, and that's why I asked the question, because some people go, I want that to be my profession. That's what I want. I see that, and I think you're right in the sense of when you bring up Avicii and people like that, and you look at those people, you go, yeah, that's where I want to be. I want to be a producer and DJ. Whereas before, it was, I mean, we're quite old, but for us, it was like, well, we're just DJs. I like producing music. Well, that's something that other people do. I just play the music.
Yeah.
Now there's, actually, I want that job. My profession, I want to be a producer and DJ.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is that whole thing for us. We were like, well, I'm just happy. Like you said, I'd rather be out than in for that money and just DJing because I enjoy the music and enjoy that lifestyle. So
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, no, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, it has massively changed a lot. So at what point did you go, right, I've got to leave this dungeon that was a basement establishment?
Yeah.
At what point did you go, right, I've got to find somewhere else?
I basically went, I did a year, I did 1 year at Leeds, then I went back home for a year, and then went to Nottingham, and then got hooked into like the Nottingham.
Another great night out.
It is. I went to do Fun News, to be fair. Yeah. It was good. It was a good laugh, a good few years. So kind of just, I never sort of actively chose to go from one to the other. I just like moved to a different city, and then kind of just got like into the network that was all of that. And yeah, it was again a cracking like scene up there, really good clubs. If anyone knows, it's like Stealth and all these kind of clubs were just like really, really good nights out. And again, like lots of great DJs up there as well at some of the nights. So yeah, I just managed to get kind of hooked into that, and that was great because as a student, you're strapped for cash, so it was a nice, easy way to make some fun money. And kind of and you get a free night out of it as well. So it was kind of a win-win, really. And so I was doing that basically all 3 years of being up there, and just played all the clubs around there, all the bars, and just kind of had a really fun time basically. And that was, I sort of really enjoyed it. And it was from there that from when I basically at the tail end of that, I then met a partner of mine, a guy called Jack. And he wasn't at uni, but like we met kind of separately, and we sort of, the final year, we sort of started this this duo, which was really fun. So we basically started to do like production together, working on tracks, kind of trying to, produce various stuff. And that was really good. And then as we sort of left uni, I was working part-time. So we kind of just spent loads of time working together, doing tracks, which is great. Like, it gets the juices flowing so much, especially when you're like immersed in it and listening to like music all the time, etc. Like,
Yeah.
it was great to then like try and write our own stuff, and we did some really cool stuff together. Like, for a few years, we when we came back to London, like we started doing Ministry of Sound, Egg, playing in Vauxhall, went all over the place really. Like, and it was kind of that era of that deep house era that it kind of went from like dubstep and then into deep house, and it was all of that. And so that was just a really fun time. Like, it was really cool, like really kind of fun nights, and yeah, we kind of just went all over and had just an absolute laugh, to be honest with you. Like, cause we're still really good mates. And it was just hilarious. We had a track that was signed. Well, we did a remix. It never went anywhere. No one did anything with it, but Universal bought it. So they gave us a track. We remixed it, and they bought it for like, I don't know. It wasn't much money, but like we could be like, oh, we signed something to Universal. Technically, I mean, it was nonsense, but yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. It all sounds good for when you're pitching yourself. So yeah, no, we did loads of fun stuff, and it was great. And so that kind of got into more of like the London scene together, and kind of doing that. Because I did that era, like I don't know if it still goes on, but like promoters would take the second and third room in London. Like, they'd have the big men like headliner in the main room, and then we got hooked into like a few promoters who were doing like room 2 and room 3, and so that we would just like play to all these crowds and stuff, and it was good. Like, we did the tour room nights party at Ministry. That was really fun, and that was packed because that was a really busy night. So it was packed in our room, and yeah, it was great. We like it was so much fun, so much fun. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, no, some fun memories for sure.
You've been kind of all over, haven't you? It's not just like the UK. I mean, I've seen some of your videos, and you've been pretty much all over, the globe. I'm guessing. You know, is there a fun? Your favourite? Is there a favourite that you've been? Tell us some of the places that you've DJed, just so me and Matty can get jealous.
Well, like so I've done. There's a few that really stand out. So like I did Pasha in Ibiza, which we can get onto in a bit about how that came about, because I think that's a good like thing for like people, because there's a few things I did which kind of got me there. I did. Someone flew me out to the Caribbean to do their wedding. That was pretty cool. Someone
winning. That's
cool.
A win.
Yeah, someone flew me out to. But this is. I'll tell you the background of this as well. But and there was another gig in Italy. They flew out to Italy, and they rented this like massive like They took it over the whole hotel for like 3 days for this wedding and all the rest of it. It's pretty wild. But the background to that, and I always think this is like it's quite it's sort of make your own luck like scenario there, because basically, so a friend of mine, he had bought right before COVID, he bought like a DJ. Well, he basically bought a Defender and converted it and like refurbed it so the roof could come up, and then it had a DJ booth in the back. And so after COVID, we started just like doing loads of private parties. And that's kind of what got me into the sort of private party stuff. But we basically drove around and did like loads of private parties in, just various locations. We also then would like pull this thing up and just like park it in the street and just like start playing. And then like crowds would gather and police would come shut us down and so on and so on. Yeah. Like, have you got a permit? Obviously not, madam. No, obviously not. And so, yeah, it was, but so that was really fun. But one of the ones that, and it was one of the best gigs like I've ever done, because I also kind of wasn't supposed to happen, which was really fun. So it was the Jubilee weekend. And it was basically, my mate had a girlfriend who's like, there was a pub on the corner, and they shut down the whole street, and they were going to do like a whole, like, everyone sit outside the pub and like have drinks and kind of do the long table thing everyone was doing. And he basically said to them, "Oh, can you they said, "Oh, can you provide some music or whatever?" And he was like, "Oh, we'll bring the Land Rover. I'll put an iPod on, and we can kind of go from there." And then he told me about this, and I was like, "No, that, I'm bringing my headphones." And so absolutely not. And so that happened. And then it just, I started playing at sort of 1 in the afternoon, and like basically the sort of this quite quaint, like quintessentially English like scene of, celebrating the Queen basically descended into complete chaos by the end. Like there was like hundreds and hundreds of people down this road, and like 4 or 5 police cars showed up and all this sort of stuff. And it was amazing because it happened so organically. Like it wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to be playing. and it just kind of built and built and built. It was an amazing, like, hot day, and the whole thing just kind of built and built and built over the kind of, and so by the end of it, like by sort of 9 o'clock or whatever, like the place was just going mad. But and then off the back of that, this is kind of why I think, like, partly you kind of make your own luck, like by doing that, someone in the crowd, like, because I've told everyone to, like, follow my Instagram when I was playing, and so someone in the crowd, like, followed me, recommended me to their colleagues who they worked with for their wedding. Anyway, that wedding turned out to be the Italy gig.
Right.
So I flew out to Italy to do the Italy gig. And then someone at that wedding, because they were all Americans, it was all American people at that wedding. And then someone at that wedding, a guest, had recommended me to the guy who was doing the wedding in the Caribbean, and said, "Oh, you should definitely get this guy. Like, he was great at this wedding, blah blah blah." And so I got booked for that one. So it's just all this, like, there's all this kind of, like, just you can never, I can't give anyone advice on it really, because it's just one of these things that, like, just happened.
Organically just happened.
Yeah.
I think I am going to go and convert my Fiat 500.
Yeah.
Mate, I am.
What? So okay. So you get that phone call. Right, we'd love you to DJ our wedding, and you're like, okay, yeah, where is it? And they say, oh, it's in the Caribbean. Okay. Firstly, how do you bring that conversation up to your partner at that point? Just let you know, I've just been booked to go to the Caribbean.
I know. Well, it's funny actually, because it was on an island called Anguilla. I'd never heard of it, and so they were like, "Oh, we've got a wedding in Anguilla. Do you want to come?" I said, I was like, "What? But where is Anguilla?
Is that near the Isle of Man?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I looked it up, and I said, this must be like a joke or wrong or something like that. Because also the profile that sent me, it was actually a DM on Instagram. So the profile that said to me, I was like, this looks fake. Like, there was only a couple of photos. The whole thing looked, and I was like, this is a bit sketchy. Anyway, and then I found out who he was. He was this, like, big time, like, real estate mogul in New York, and yeah, man, he spent crazy money on this wedding. So and also it was really funny, like, because I'd never done anything at that kind of, like, level. And so I like massively undercharged. Because the thing is, in my head, I was like, right, if I charge my normal fee, then I've got to charge him 2 nights at a hotel, then I've got to charge him a flight, So it racks up super fast, actually. Like, it ended up being, like, in my head, I was like, that's quite a lot of money to book me. Anyway, I get there, and I'm talking, so we have, like, all the suppliers have dinner and stuff, and they, I'm just like, oh, like, out of interest, like, what do you normally charge for? And it's like 6 times what I charged. I'm like, oh my God.
But yeah.
But I kind of didn't care. I really didn't care. I was like, the fact that, like, music and DJing has brought me to, like, some Caribbean island in the middle of nowhere, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Come a long way since the stripper nightclubs on a Monday night. Like, so so you gotta, But so yeah, it's not, money's not everything, but
that's a great journey. All right, talk to me about the Pasha Ibiza.
Yeah, so the Pasha thing came.
How did that happen?
The Pasha thing came about because I won a competition. So I basically, there was a competition that again, this is something that it was quite random actually. So there's a guy called Mickey Morg. Do you know him? Like, you might have seen him around. He kind of does, like, DJ courses, and it's all about, like, you do this course, it's all about helping you get booked and, like, creating your brand or whatever. Anyway, I had gone to, like, a 1-day workshop that you put on ages ago, and I always was getting hit with, like, emails or whatever, newsletter stuff. Anyway, and then one of these emails came in. It was like, we're running this competition to play at Pasha, like, warm up for Claptones night, do the closing party out there. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like,
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, exactly. And so I did a mix, entered it and won, which was insane. And yeah, it was an incredible experience. Like, yeah, just mind blowing. It was mind blowing to me as well, because the last time I'd been in Pasha, which was like 10 years ago, 10 years before I played, like the last DJ I'd seen playing there was David Guetta. And so then, like, the next time, like I was the one playing there, I was just like, this is wild. Like, yeah, it's wild.
I'll make that sort of stuff up.
It's wild, man. And it's just like, it's in my head, I was like, this is what's crazy about this to me is that, like, obviously I'm not famous. I'm not like only the biggest stars play there. I was like, of all the DJs in the world, of everyone that DJs, like the percentage of DJs that get to play at like Ibiza, an Ibiza super club is like so small, like 0.001% or whatever it is. Like, it's just such a, like, it's just a, like, lucky, privileged, like, just loving it, like all of the above, really. Because it's just, and stuff like that. It's just wild, I think, and like having amazing experiences like that because of DJing or because of something you love or your passion. That's great. Like that's incredible. That's what's kind of what's all about, in my opinion. So yeah, but I think with all these things, like with the gigs and the sort of, international gigs and the passion stuff or whatever, like I think with all of that, you do have to remember, like, you do kind of have to create your own luck a little bit. Because, like there would have been plenty of people who saw that competition and didn't put a mix in. And there would have been, or plenty of people who kind of, would not have got on the decks and just like gone for it with the music, even though they weren't supposed to at that street party, and look where that took you, kind of thing. So it's just about, I think, being a bit, just being a bit kind of trying to go for it, create your own demand, have a slightly entrepreneurial mindset, just in the sense of like, you're not selling a product, but you are the product, and so you've got to try and figure out a way to kind of market yourself any way you can. So yeah, there's always an element of just kind of being a bit hacky and a bit,
We're going to touch on the selling, the marketing side of you in a second. I just want to revisit the whole competition thing.
Yeah.
So was that the first ever DJ competition mixtape thing that you've sent in?
Yeah.
And you won?
Yeah, it was wild.
Have you ever done any more since, or you?
Exactly. Yeah, I've done a couple, but not had any luck. So it's it really just was. It just was luck of the draw with that one, I think. But also, with mix competitions, and actually I see it quite a bit, like, because a lot of them have like the mix is public, and people put in mixes that are just so wrong for the competition, and random, and like, so you like, it doesn't take a huge amount of thought to be like, okay, so it's Claptone, quite commercial, quite housey, like vocally, nothing too hard, nothing too underground, but there were mixes in there for drum and bass, techno, like, and all the rest of it. And I'm like, well, it doesn't take that much of like a brain cell.
Read the brief, people.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I kind of played, because I was like, okay, well, in my head, I was like, so it's not going to be a headline set, so I don't want to play all bangers. Like, I kind of play a more like in line with the night, and I watched some of the parties, like the masquerade parties, on YouTube as well, to kind of get a sense of just like make sure I was on the right track. And so did all that, and that kind of helped. Also, like with competitions as well, something that is quite good is get your mix mastered, because it makes it louder, and obviously it just like will stand out a bit more. Like mine was by far, I went through all of them, and like that, like mine was way louder than everybody else's, which I think just helps, just make it sound a bit more professional. So yeah, it's a combination of things really, but it was it was a wild night, man. It's a funny place though. Like, it's super, super expensive. Wow. Oh man, it's so expensive. And also
10 years ago.
Yeah. And it's just going to get worse. And Pasha itself, like the club, so the way the club is structured, like you come in through the main door, then you come onto the big dance floor, the booth is at the back. But then what you kind of don't see with like all the videos that you see on social media is like, there's basically like this, I can't really describe it, but there's like this stadium of VIP, like
layers.
Yeah, it's layered. Yeah. It's like a stadium. And I was like, this is really weird. And also, and then like, so that was kind of funny. And I was like, no, this is how many people can we stack in here who are going to pay us loads of cash? And then the crowd as well, like in that section, there was this one, I remember watching this one table, and it was just like very like older gentlemen, obviously loads of money, and just like not a looker, shall we say. And he had like the most beautiful, like, I don't know, 22-year-old girlfriend that said, and the whole night till like 5 a.m, they were sat down, just in chairs, just like drinking their champagne, like not talking or anything. I was just like, this is just really weird. Like, this is kind of not what it's about. So yeah, people always say, "Oh, the island's changed," or whatever. But I was just like, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of not what you do."
It has changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you encourage any new DJ to get in on these competitions?
Yeah, because if you win, you could have an incredible experience. You've got incredible content. I dine out on that gig so hard when I'm talking to anyone.
You have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because also I flew out. So I flew my cousin out who was like at film school and stuff. So I got him to do a proper promo video. I got tons of content out of it. And all the rest of it. So and then use that as marketing material for myself. Because I was like, because you could basically, I could use this to kind of justify myself, why you should book me over somebody else. Because like I said, there's only a few people, a small number of people that have done something like that. And so it's so you never know, you never know, and it looks great for socials. It's it's a good story when you're talking to people, good for the CV, all of that jazz.
Good advice. Good advice. So let's talk about marketing. So like I said at the beginning of the interview, the reason that we sort of wanted you on here is because of how the TikTok world for DJs, you are literally on everybody's stream, left, right, and centre, because of the way you have hooked yourself in. So for anyone who hasn't seen Sir Francis on TikTok, explain to me how, or the thought process that you had around marketing yourself in the way that you do.
So I had started that TikTok probably, I think in 2020. And I kind of I did a bit of content on it. And then, because I basically at the time was running, I had two accounts, one in DJing, which I was talking about, and then one was in a completely different niche. But that was also related to a business I was running at the time. So I put way more effort into that one. And also it was COVID and so I was a bit oh, there's no point really running this which I regret now, because actually if I could have picked up a lot more steam. But anyway, the other channel I'd grown, I grew that to 130,000 followers on TikTok. But doing the same style that you'll see on my page. And I tried a few other styles, kind of over a couple of years, I did these mixes things and all the rest of it. But kind of just with them was I don't have time to do that much content anymore. Because there's a lot of effort when it comes into all the editing and everything else. Yeah. I was I'm going to just go back to what I know kind of worked on my other page, which is basically me shouting at the camera. And best way to describe it, being very
only way to describe it.
Yeah. And I'm DJs, what do you think? And they're and I kind of just being a bit being a bit mad. But there wasn't much thought behind it in terms of the type of content, I guess, because I just talk about my experiences, and talk about tips and tricks I've picked up over the last 10 years or whatever. I also saw people like Fish 56. So I'd seen him, and he'd come through obviously with this like musical stuff, but also he's got like a cool personality.
And he tried Weetabix in the morning.
I know, it's wild, isn't it? Yeah, like all these little things,
all these tiny little things, and wears strange socks.
Yeah,
noticed. But yeah, I mean, but these are things that
people hook into.
People get hook into, and it makes you stand out away other people. And
yeah,
I think with all of us, we like DJing and social media has massively changed because you need to have a very heavy social media footprint now than you ever used to do in our industry. So if you're not fueling, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, but if you're not fueling these two main accounts, then it's really difficult for you because people are finding to book via social media. They're not going onto Google and going, I need a DJ near me. They're not doing that anymore. They're going straight into social media. So it's all about finding that hook and what works for you. And then it's just maintaining that. Do you find that quite difficult to maintain that constantly? What do you look to push out? Are you pushing out one a day, 2 a week? What's the bar for you?
I do one a day. at the moment. So that takes me. I mean, this was the other reason I kind of reverted back to the format that I do, is because it's super, super simple. Like I can film. If I have an idea, I just write down all my ideas. Like I have a thing in my notes on my phone, and this stuff will just come to me all the time. I'm like, oh, I should talk about this, talk about that. And so like I have this bank of content or like bank of ideas. I can go, okay, I'll pick that, whip out the phone. Takes me 2 minutes to film it. I can edit that super quick, put a caption on it, and done. Content for the day done. Super easy. Because I think that's what people struggle with when they're with content. They think it's got to be like super polished, super, edited or whatever. And actually, you don't. And like I've showed it because I've had like quite a few videos I pop and go do big numbers. And it's just me in my garden shed, just like talking about like my experiences and what I've done and kind of what my thoughts on the music industry and all this kind of stuff. I'm trying now. Actually, I just filmed stuff over the weekend. Like I'm going to try and like incorporate, music into it now. Because I think that's obviously really important. Because, there's only so much talking you can do. I think you kind of have to start to like show like, what music you like. Like you are a DJ at the end of the day. You just incorporate that in, but I've kind of figured out the style that people like, and so then I can start to push music into that as well. Because everyone's kind of, what's interesting as well, like everyone is kind of doing this like the fish model essentially, where it's like they're like, oh, this vinyl from 1996 or whatever, whereas I'm going to do something completely different, and just a bit.
Watch this space.
Just a bit unhinged, basically. And so
nice.
Still kind of in the same, like it'll be the same style, but like just a bit more like interesting and fun.
In the shed, in the garden office.
No, kitchen this time. Yeah. I'm excited. Yeah. I get the massive smoke machine out that I've got and just blast it in my face. You'll see it.
This morning with it all set up.
Yeah, exactly. The setup's strong, so it's so I'm gonna start putting that into it as well, with obviously like talking and stuff. But yeah, I mean, social media is a thing. Like as you know, is. Unfortunately, I mean, I kind of think we've kind of reached the stage where marketing is more important than music now. Sad, like whether that's right or wrong, like we can debate that till it's blue in the face. But the reality is, like, if you've got eyeballs on you, people will want to book you for nights. Unless you have a track that goes, parabolic, and people get eyeballs on you because of that music. Like the easiest way to do it is not easiest way, but like it still takes a lot of commitment. But there is like another path you can take. You kind of have to do it anyway, regardless if you're making music or not. But if that's how people discover music, that's how people find who you are. That's how people like learn like your personality, like what you like, what you don't like, all this kind of stuff. So it's so important. It's unfortunately, whether you like it or not, it's so important. So
that's another reason why Fish has done remarkably well, in the sense of the way he has marketed that and is pushing that music out.
Yeah.
And a lot of his content now is more him going out and doing shows more than him standing in his kitchen doing it.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, and it's also like it is a bit frustrating because, like, especially with production, like, it takes so long to master it, so long to really get good, really find your sound, and you've got some person who just has a load of followers and they're getting bigger and better gigs over you or whatever it may be, even though you're producing great music. And also a lot of people don't want to like go on camera. People don't like there's a real mental block I find with people about that, which is totally fair enough, but there is definitely other ways you can do it. You don't have to like be talking to the camera. There's so many other ways you could skin it. But in the same breath, I do find like the best way to communicate your personality, the best way to communicate who you are is by talking to the camera. Because and they've done studies on this, like the brain, like people start to think that you're their mate, or what, because if you're constantly looking at someone and you're basically having a one-way conversation with someone constantly every day, they're showing up in your algorithm every day, your brain starts to equate them as like a friend. So then it really becomes like a it's a very, very powerful tool. I mean, it's pretty scary what I suppose short form content is probably doing to our brains, but that's how you really develop a connection with people. And again, that's why, like, for example, Fish has done super well because he's absolutely nailed that. Then people like, everyone, his family, what his kids look like, all this kind of stuff. Like, everything. And so you want to come see him. And now there was a video of the summer of him where like people were tearing down a stage to get into his tent to try and see him.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else has that. Like, no other DJ, not quite on the same level as that. It's wild.
No.
Yeah.
And that's just pure social media. That's pure social media and what it's done for people.
Yeah.
So other than the changing direction of the content and moving into a different area, what's the future for Sir Francis?
So now, like, this is as I've got older, I used to live in London. Now I don't live in London. I'm now married. I have a baby. I have a dog. So life starts to change quite a bit. And then there's this, it goes crossroads, not crossroads, but like if you haven't quote unquote made it, because I spent years like trying to make it, right. And sort of, get these gigs and release on certain labels and all the rest of it, and kind of got a bit of traction. Like, I got some cool stuff. Like, I had a couple tracks played by like big DJs in Printworks and that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, this is great. Like, it feels really good. But after a while, you do kind of have to sit down and be like, am I actually going to make it? The signs are telling me no. So then, like, as I mentioned, like after COVID, I kind of started to, like, I was doing this like DJ thing like in the Land Rover with my mate. We were doing private events and then weddings and all the rest of it. And then I basically kind of, like, he sold that Land Rover, and I just carried on doing, a lot of private events. So I would say like a lot of my work now is private events, corporate, weddings, that kind of stuff. And then I try and squeeze in gigs where, like, try and get like house gigs. Like, I did a few like really great ones over the last summer, and I opened up for Danny Rampling last summer. That was pretty cool. So like stuff like that. He's jokes, by the way. He's a really nice guy. Yeah. He's so funny. Like, he came over after me, and then I came up to him and was like, oh, like, do you want a drink? And he just like, he brought his own like bottle of red wine. I was like, he's still going after like 60 years or whatever. Like, but that was a cool gig, actually. That was on an island, like off the coast of Edinburgh, like this really small, tiny island that like gets cut off by the sea. And so that was a wicked gig. I had a festival on there, and it was just like, playing it was a massive, like 500 people, but playing to that crowd, like, and then like Danny Rampling like took over, who's like a massive house legend and all the rest of it. So like, it's just cool, man. Gigs like that are just cool. So that was really cool. But yeah, no, the bulk of my stuff is kind of more private work now. Which is at the end of the day, like, I think that's maybe not the dream, but like, it depends how you look at it, right? It's like, oh, I didn't hit my dream, or it's like I'm still getting paid to do my hobby.
Exactly.
And so it just depends how you look at these things always. But I think that's kind of, the summer's looking pretty busy. Stuff's already been booked for Christmas, which is wild. So yeah, no, it's good. I'm excited, and I'll just keep making content. And kind of
keep it coming, Sir Francis. Keep
pushing,
it coming.
Keep pushing, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's important as well. Like you say, you got a wife and a baby now, and you are busy and everything. And I think it's very important that you don't forget your family. Obviously, you're not going to forget your family, but babies grow up so quick.
Yeah.
So no, it's good that it's good where you're going like that.
Yeah, no, there comes a point where you can't keep it up. Like, so there was a couple of years ago, these are quite fun stories, actually. So I basically was doing private events. So I was living in London. This was kind of before I had a baby and all the rest of it. But I was doing private events. So like, out of London. So I finish private events at say 12, 1 o'clock at night. Drive back to London. So I get back to London about 2, 3 in the morning. And then I used to basically have a residency at like a gay after hours club in London. And so I'd get her back to London like at 3, go to bed, sleep for an hour, wake up, then go to the club because the club would open at 5 or 6, and then I'd play from like 6 till 9 in the morning or something like that. And so that's like, just Sunday morning or whatever, and like that's just not like I could not anymore.
Can't do that.
I could not do that anymore. But some wild goes down there. I tell you, you've not seen anything until you've got until you've gone into like a gay club at sort of 7, 8 in the morning.
That will be on the next edition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Confessions of a DJ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lovely. So Francis, thanks for joining us. We've come to the end of this, but we'd love to have you back in a few months' time, see how things are going and how things are progressing. Would you come back?
I would. I'll do it for sure. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Thanks for popping in, everyone. Yeah, we've given a buzz on it.
Lovely having you on.
Yeah, it's been great having you on, man. All the best for the summer and festivals and all the private stuff as well, man. All the best to you. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Well, I told you. Listen, like I said, we tried to book him, or we spoke to him back in September to get him on board, and it did not disappoint. In my view,
it didn't disappoint. You can see why. I mean, Sir Francis.
I mean, he's self-labelled himself Sir Francis, but why not? Why, like,
you know what? I wonder if his mum was in the Traitors, because he said his mum was an opera singer.
Oh,
yeah. Now I know you watch the Traitors, so you know who I mean.
Yeah,
Linda.
maybe some people that listen to this around the world probably don't. So let's
true,
reference
probably.
a program that's on in the UK.
You know what I found like really good? If you take where we started,
in
the strip club, from there to Pasha.
That's a big step. Yeah, that's a journey,
leap, man.
That's a journey. Yeah,
Love
and
that.
we are definitely getting him back because there was still so much more that we needed to talk about.
Yeah.
He's
He
got
doesn't shout all the time, either, does he?
not during the conversation.
No.
On his TikToks, yeah.
I was expecting him to be shouting at us, but he never.
No, that's the hook. Well, you expected. You turn the volume down in your headphones the entire time.
He just got so much in his TikTok videos. He has just got so much energy.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why he has to do it out in his garden shed.
Probably, yeah. There is probably that.
No, love that interview. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it was a great interview.
Great
It was
guy.
a great little insight. But this is another reason why I like doing these podcasts is listening to people's stories, listen to their journeys, and taking little nuggets. Groove Junction goodies,
I like
as we're now labelling it.
Yeah,
the Groove Junction goodies.
That needs a button, Matty. That needs a button.
I need it.
Groove Junction. No, that's
No, not that button. Wrong button. Okay, I'll try and find a button.
Work on
Yeah.
that one.
We'll work on that one. Yeah, we need a Groove Junction goodies. The Groove Junction goodies button. So I can press that. But
Little song.
listening to people's little nuggets that they've done and what they're doing and what they've done to get to them to where they are. It's great to hear. It's great to hear.
Just the thing like when he said about the competition he entered to play at Pasha. He'd done his homework. He had a look to see what the sort of thing they were playing. He didn't go in there with like a drum and bass mix and give it, this is
who I am.
Yeah. He never went in with that. He done a bit of homework. I like that.
Do your homework around the establishment that you're going into.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a given. It's a given.
Brilliant.
So yeah, really good interview. Really liked it.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. So we talked about what we're doing coming up in the first section of the show before the interview, so we don't need to cover that again. So, John, I wish you safe. I wish you well. No,
I can't believe you even did that. I can't believe you've got to go there.
I'm not even good. It's interesting when you start talking about stuff that's completely off-brand, because once again, we've hit another country this week.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, Ecuador. South America. Ecuador. Yeah.
Love that.
Mental. Crazy. Anyway, just keep ticking the countries off.
Well, you know what? Global.
Hold on, I've got a button for that. Hold on, let me find the button for that. What was it again?
We're going. We're going global.
There it is. There it is.
Global. Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
And no, that's really good. I mean, as you say, you know, we're going all over the globe, but what we want, we need, you know, we do get lots of comments. We get lots of comments, and we get emails sent to us and all of that about, you know, what people think of it. But we still, just because you've said it once, we want you to keep sending us these.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that
we want fan mail.
Yeah. We want fan mail and groupies.
Well, not so much the groupies, but we'll take the fan mail all day long. Absolutely, 100%.
We just want to know. We just want to make sure that what we're doing, you're happy with, and that we're covering all the bases. You know, if you want to talk an episode on, I don't know, the brand new Pioneer AZ.
Not got mine yet. Not got mine yet.
You've still not got it.
No, still not out.
Right, let's leave that. Maybe that was a bad example.
But
you want to talk about
in the week.
If you want to talk about all day hosting at a wedding or something like that, and you would like us to bring it up within one of our podcasts, then please reach out, drop us an email. All the email details and everything are like mail sort
in
out.
the descriptions.
In the description,
Absolutely.
yeah. Let us know, good or bad. It doesn't matter. You know, if you don't like it, tell us. Tell us you don't like it.
Yeah, and
I don't think anyone. I can't see why anyone would not like this.
And we'll consider taking it out.
Consider being the word.
Absolutely. But yeah, all fan mail is accepted. Yeah, please drop us a line. It'd be great to hear from you. I'll see you again next week, mate.
I'm looking forward to it already.
Same time, same place.
Let's do that.
Here on the Groove Junction. As always, the Groove Junction drops every Friday, 10 a.m. Go check it out. Thanks, John. See you next week, man.
Hey, buddy. Take care.